So I want to start this video off by clearly stating that the video you are about to watch was not created by me. I'm just watching it and reacting to it purely for entertainment value. So if you like this content, please make sure to follow the link in the description below to the original content creator and like and subscribe to their channel and their video respectively. Again, I did not create the video you are about to watch. I'm just reacting to it for fun. So let's get to it.
And so I want to do that with LARPing videos. I want to learn about different areas of the game, different games that I don't play within my niche, and then gonna give credit to the people, obviously, who made these things. But I want to go through, watch, give my opinion on some stuff. And so I just went to YouTube and I searched LARP. And we're going to work our way down through and see what all we can find. So this first video here is called What is Larping? And it is by the Insider program here on YouTube. Let me pull up the bigger screen here. And let me know if you can hear the volume on this. You should be able to now.
This is LARPing. You may have heard about it from movies like Knights of Badassdom or Role Models. But what exactly is LARPing?
I love this entire.
And why are people so obsessed with it?
LARP is an acronym, LARP. It stands for live action role playing.
So I said this on the last one too. I like this one quite a bit so far because oftentimes when we get into the news, they don't portray LARPers very well. And this one seems to be pretty well done and pretty awesome. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you checking for me, Cameron, on that. But this one I like quite a bit because it seems pretty professional and it seems to be coming at it not in a way to try and make fun of the people that are on screen. Like they're telling the story and it's pretty cool. I like it so far.
Some people will say live action role playing game, or they'll turn it into a verb called LARPing.
Chelsea Russell has been LARPing for the past 7 years, going about once a month. She's part of a group of LARPers based in New Jersey called Orem.
What LARP is generally a interactive role-playing experience, kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons or a video game come to real life.
LARPing basically involves coming up with a character.
I like the little musical instruments and the whole kit here. It not necessarily the fantasy stuff that I normally play, but I like the setup that she has going on here.
Giving it a background,
the elf ears,
making costumes and props for it, and then acting out a story.
We're currently in stage point delta of the continent of Antioch.
You determine their name, their personality, do they have any family members? What's their goals in life?
Since my character likes math, I have a book of Sudoku.
That's pretty dang cool. I like that.
Plot has been written in advance.
And of course, it's any LARP. It's going on a quest. You have to have the Walmart and Hobby Lobby and all the Halloween skulls and
players
just can't have one without that.
To improvise the rest.
They've created a world and they've created rules for that world.
Orem is a steampunk fantasy themed LARP.
Okay.
Some other LARPs can be post-apocalyptic, zombie, and vampire themed. In addition to participating as a player, Chelsea also writes some of the stories and works part-time on the staff.
We were talking with one of the last interviews I did with Saint Daedra, and she was talking about how she was on staff for one of these kind of LARPy or LARP ones. And that's pretty interesting to me, the distinction between staff and players. Because with Amtgard and Dagger here, you don't really have that line very much. A lot of the people kind of do both, and then it changes from back and forth. So I think it's pretty neat to see games like this that are a little different than what I'm used to.
Monthly events to see what it's like. This LARP took place at a Boy Scout camp in New Jersey.
I like
which
it.
was closed for the season, so all the cabins and buildings were free for use. One of the organizers, Robin, arrived early to set up food and decorations. Soon, the players who registered in advance started to show up in their cars.
When players arrive, they'll arrive out of game, out of character, setting up their things, and if it's a weekend thing, they'll set up their sleeping area.
I do enjoy going to the LARPs that have cabins available with the bunks and stuff. It really does make things a lot easier to be able to be in the bunk with your friends. It makes it It's got AC most of the time, sectioned off areas. I like the ones that have the bunks.
Setting up their sleeping area.
Weekend LARPs typically run from Friday night through Saturday at midnight. They cost around $40 to $50 to register per person, which doesn't include travel or any meal besides breakfast. About 10 people were in attendance.
So interesting there. So they just said the cost of this LARP in New Jersey, $40 to $50, and that only includes one meal, or one meal per day over a 2-day event. Pretty interesting how different events cost different things as it goes. I like that.
Breakfast. About 10 people were in attendance for this event. When they register, they get their character sheet with their current stats, along with some cards that represent weapons and ingredients used to make items.
Okay.
One of the things that people can make in the game is called a Clockwork Messenger. It's supposed to be a small animal, often in the shape of a dog.
That's kind of cool.
Messages with you.
A few people will take turns playing what's called an NPC.
Okay.
Think of them as temporary staff working for the writers and organizers.
I'm gonna go back. I like that guy's.
A few people will take.
I like his hood right here. Like, that's really cool. I like the orange color, and then I like the leaves down at the bottom as well. That's pretty neat.
Turns playing what's called an.
And it looks like pretty basic garb here is the minimum standard. I like that. Just the black pants, black boots, and the tabard here.
PC. Think of them as temporary staff working for the writers and organizers.
I like that too. I like the mask and the fur. Notice that they do have modern clothing on underneath it, but it's all muted. I think they said this one was steampunk too, so
The term is called NPC,
different.
non-player character. They'll send an NPC out as, I'm a nasty orc and I'm going to burn down your farm. And the players will react as they determine that their characters will react.
As they got into costume, the players ate dinner together.
I am Silas Arlock, a dark elf explorer.
I like his garb. I like the orange and the blue.
Entrepreneur.
Liana
ears.
Rose. She's an imperial scientist.
My character's name is the Mole. He has an actual name, but he doesn't remember it. He's a hedge mage. So he's one of the people who try to cling on to the dying magic of this world.
Meanwhile, Orum's head of plot, Kelvin, started setting up his props.
The antioxidant goodness in every bottle of palm.
Of course, if I'm going to do more of this, I should probably actually pay YouTube for their ads, or to get rid of their ads.
$19.95.
Kelvin brought various items, including light-up wreaths,
I like that.
fake plants, stuffed creatures, and lots of fake weapons. Orum is a type of LARP.
All right, let's go. Let's take a look at these. So they look kind of boffery, I guess, but there's no pommels. Not quite latex, or at least some of them are latex. What we got here? It's the yarn beard for me. Yeah, I like the yarn beard too, in the ears there. So the weapons look somewhat boffery, some of them, but not quite latex. So that's interesting.
Weapons. Orum is a type of LARP called a combat Boffer LARP.
Combat Boffer LARPs
I joked that it didn't look combat Boffer LARP, but
have an element of physicality to them.
They incorporate specially made weapons that you can actually fight with.
Just PVC pipe covered with insulation foam and duct
there we
tape.
go. There we go.
Made in such a way to
I like the shovel.
represent a sword or an axe or a hammer or what have you.
Since it's steampunk themed, there are also guns.
We use Nerf guns at this game.
That's pretty
but
cool.
I painted this one specifically
Yeah, that's
so it would
sick.
theme a little better, like with coppers and silvers.
If you get hit by one of the bullets, it takes real hit points off your character.
So it's literally like if you were just shooting someone for fun with a Nerf gun, except now in game, that has a little bit more implication than just getting hit with
That
a
would
Nerf
be kind of
gun.
fun.
He was just shot. I was just shot.
It's a continuous storyline from month to month, so there's a lot to catch up on.
Okay.
Everyone evacuated this area after the
It's like a D&D campaign.
Cool. And let's get ready to rock, starting in 15.
On Friday night, Chelsea would be playing as an NPC and Marshall. Marshals wear white headbands or hats to distinguish themselves from the players.
I'm out of
Easy
game.
enough.
I'm not in character. I'm not something to interact with. They're asking you maybe game mechanic questions that, like, can I use this skill, or how does this thing work?
The marshals will have the notes for the different encounters of what they're doing.
It's almost like a D&D module.
Tonight I will be playing one of the departed spirits that has remained in the abandoned town. My main goal will just to be as spooky and creepy as possible.
A couple days after
There you go.
Halloween, when all of the costume goes on sale, we jokingly refer to as Larper Christmas. So you can go to the stores and get all of your costume needs for cheap.
We are
I
almost
actually
there,
was
everybody.
the one who mainly wrote the events of tonight.
The story started at a basketball court on camp.
This is a ghost that is in a bird.
I really don't know where everyone else went.
Bernard, find them!
That's the one with the mole.
No, he did not find them.
The main plot of the weekend is that the characters are trying to reclaim a
I really like this dude's garb. That's clean. I like it.
town called Stage Point Delta, which had been overrun with orcs several months ago. And it's now inhabited by a number of creatures, including ghosts.
You have your ether goggles.
Yeah.
Yes.
I recommend. There's a lot of strange ghosts out there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's creepy. How you doing? This is Bernard.
One of which could be put to rest only after burying his bones.
Get back from the green menace! Oh!
Why don't we bury his bones?
Stand your ground!
Fortunately, one of the players brought a shovel.
Raccoons.
The shovel is pretty
Raccoons
cool.
are also a creature you can encounter, and they have specific skills that have been written down.
They also were faced with other challenges, like a puzzle they had to solve to clear the way to enter a building.
That's
First
neat.
line is Saw Twa Corby's query make. Second line is Downy visage upon thine tree.
Once inside, a demon was waiting to do battle.
Someone just knocked.
Just hit my arm down. Someone throw a theory disruptor at it. Dodge!
In Orm, characters can
Alright.
die. They can be permanently killed.
But that doesn't mean you have to go home. You can jump in as a new character. Or if you're only wounded, you can also be
That
healed.
is something that I miss, or I wish that the Amtgard Dag Bell had more of, was character death and meaningful character death. Because I feel like if you're going to do roleplay stuff, like this reminds me a lot of Night Quest so far at most Amtgard games. And if you could get it to the, like if you had character death, I think that would make these type of things matter more compared to Amtgard, where you just die a billion times and then keep coming back.
healed.
Someone can come along and say, I'm applying first aid, and then you would be able to stand back up and you may role play, oh, I've been stabbed through the chest, it hurts, but I'm alive.
The game went on until about 3 a.m.
Jeez.
after patrolling the perimeter to make sure the land was secure. In the morning, Robin made pancakes and bacon for the players who arrived at the table in costume and in character. On Saturday, Chelsea became one of the players, and someone else took on the role of Marshall, an NPC.
It's cool that they let
So my usual character is
it's cool that they let the PC or the NPCs play some too. I like that.
sea elf mathematician. She follows the sun god called Hepenen.
My name is Madrelore Nafstirnerhoff. I'm a Van Nisse mathematician with Stoneforge and Company.
In the daylight, the group battled some more creatures, like a tiger
I got
caught up real good.
and a troll. And things
I like
got a
the
bit
troll.
scary when real gunshots could be heard in the woods from nearby hunters.
Huh.
But they managed to tie this into the game's story.
In the background, Stoneforge is prepping the cannons and getting everything ready.
There you go.
While I was
That's one
filming,
way to
no
do
one
it.
was on their phones taking selfies or posting to Facebook while in character.
Tends to break people out of their mindset of playing their character. And once you start playing in character, you generally try not to talk about things that are real world related. You wouldn't talk about, oh, my car broke down.
There was also no drinking at this LARP. Everyone played for the rest of the
Probably
day
'cause it's at a Boy
and
Scout
then
camp.
departed on Sunday back to the real world.
My real life job, I am a supervisor at a coffee shop. And then I come here and I play math nerds and ghosts.
Many of them will be back next month to continue the story.
It's fun to play pretend, and a lot of people, I think that dressing up and playing pretend is childish when it doesn't have to be. The enjoyment you get is creating a story together with people, and I think that's something that a lot of people don't really realize.
Yeah, so this one seems more like D&D. I like the character story. I like the idea of reoccurring month-over-month story that the players are going to be invested in. That seems pretty fun. Garb standards seem to be relatively loose, but it is steampunk too, which I thought was neat. So she obviously has more into it, but then some of the other ones were on the lower end, but still looks pretty good. Their monsters seem pretty fun. I like the troll in particular, look cool. The demon would have been fun to fight too, it looked like. Looked like they had almost a Dystopia and Rising type of system where when you're hitting, you don't necessarily go full force, it didn't look like, but you say specific abilities, which was different. Overall, pretty good. I like the makers of this too, that they did very well on it and portrayed it in a good light, which sometimes it doesn't.